Game number one, it's going to be Franco's Eggpostles versus Watchparty. These are our upper bracket finals, playing here to get into the grand finals and win 5 egg cups. On the left is Franco's Eggpostles, on the right is Watchparty, and we are on Garden of Terror, Chance.
Yes, we are on Garden of Terror, and these are two phenomenal teams coming in here. Franco's Apostles, they come together so well. They have these incredible drafts as well that they really push through. Watchparty, on the other hand, they sort of thrive in the chaos. They really sort of, as soon as things don't go to plan for Franco's Apostles, that's where Watchparty pounce. So it is really a game of who can disassemble the other team first.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen some very high-level gameplay coming out of both these sides over the qualifiers. Both of them have managed to win a qualifier, but can they do it when it counts? As already bans are coming in. Hanzo being removed early here, not going to be allowed to be played by our Russian team, and Lucio as that response ban, Trans.
Yeah, so Lucio has been focused a lot today just because there are some very good Lucio players out there. Sylvanas now picked up, banned away here by Franco's Apostles. And it's that range DPS that they don't want to have coming for them. I wonder who's going to get the Falstad in this game, as it's not been banned out yet. And I feel like that is what everyone's thinking about.
Yeah, Falstad Prio has been very high for both of these teams. Franco's Eggpostles play it as more of a macro engine trying to get split push, whereas Watchparty like the fact that it can engage from anywhere on the map using the global not as a macro tool but a long range engage tool. So both slightly different utilizations, but both very impactful with the hero. We do see Junkrat as that last ban. It's a bit of a favorite of Coffee's. It means that harder to pick Coffee a hero earlier on in the draft, as a lot of his other more preferred picks are a little bit more situational. So maybe just trying to trip that draft off a little bit. Also, who wants to play into Junkrat? Certainly not me.
Oh, it's gonna be the Brightwing, and I think you're interested because the Junkrat is sort of almost like the hero of the Eggs Cup. It feels like, Luca. We see it almost every game, either banned or picked, and it's just that level of control, as you say. Brightwing here dissuading potentially that Genji, but we've seen Watchparty pick it into the Brightwing. I don't think they care too much.
Yeah, I mean, if you know your opponents want Genji, having the Brightwing has to feel good for you. It's going to be the Haka, though, coming out in response, and the Rhaegar. So the Falstad is still left on the table. I guess the Road team are a bit worried with the Brightwing taken. If they don't get their hands on the Rhaegar early, maybe it gets removed before the end of that second ban stage. But now, again, we're looking like mugs, as this Falstad just doesn't seem to have the priority we were hoping it would. 2 other globals have fallen pre-Falstad. I mean, honestly. And it's still... I do like this Diablo Blaze rotation. They're trying to be very solid here, Franco's Eggpostles. They want a very, very solid comp, and it'll be interesting to see how they round this out in the back half.
Yeah, so it is a lot of good sustain here for the Blues, and we've seen other teams fall to having squishier comps. Blaze often banned out as one of those heroes just because he's so safe to play with and into. And it is going to be a big decision here for the red team. What do they want to have? There's the Falstad ban! It's prioritized at some level.
Up until this point, and just, look, we said Falstad was going to get prioritized, and there he is, banned out. Guys, look at that. We didn't leave a mark for the thing. We should have clapped. Ah, man. It's going to be so hard for Trans to edit out us being wrong for 3 minutes now.
Well, the another bans come in, and obviously tanks are available to be banned. The Dark Wolf has been playing really well on this Diablo in the qualifiers. What do they not want to play against? And it is going to be Greymane, which I think is a sensible.
Yeah, the Greymane has been very, very highly contested by the red team. They get a lot of value from it, and he's so good on the camps here. The macro advantage it can give you that lets you run around and out-rotate opponents. I like that ban here. It's going to be interesting to see what gets picked up here. I do find Watchparty one of the harder teams to predict in draft. Obviously, the Genji is going to be a consideration, but there are other things they can do to be aggressive. We're probably going to see Tank come out here as well.
Yeah, it's going to be Vala and Johanna. Very safe, very stable, but into that Diablo, potentially not as impactful as they'd like. I think it's going to be a little bit tough in that early game, especially the way that we've seen Franco's Eggpostles play with Diablo. Yeah, it does seem like, they've had all week to prepare for this match. They know that this match has been coming since Tuesday. They were both in the top 2, knowing that this was going to be it. And
Nothing
so,
more important in their lives than those potential egg cups. And it's going to be Genji coming out for Frank here, not wanting Bishops to get that last pick. And Gul'dan is going to be what Coffee is playing. I think I like this Gul'dan into the style that Watchparty normally play, but I am worried that actually Bishops could just pick something very safe here, and they could play a very standard front to back. If you locked in a Tychus last pick, that Dark Wolf Diablo is going to have a really tough game.
yeah, Gul'dan obviously doesn't have a big presence around them. Is very much a walking horrify after the mid game, and Maiev coming in. Oh, it's going to be a tough one, as you say. You know, Gul'dan is going to be threatened. Blaze and Diablo can't help out too much. Otherwise, Maev's just going to get resets on those Qs. And Luca for the blue team. They are Franco's Eggpostles with the Dark Wolf on Diablo. Protoss Frank on Genji. Not Prepared on Diablo. TV Coffee on the Gul'dan. And Saphiro on Brightwing.
And for the first time today, they are the Watch Party. We have got Renella playing Rhaegar. Bishops is on Maiev. Anyone, the sub coming in on Johanna Morenas playing Dahaka. And Hlabaka is on the Valor.
Kill, fight, spread my spores.
Can stream here, Trans?
Oh, I pressed the mute button to sniff. Yes. Did I do the introduction for the blue team?
Yeah. That bit was all fine, and then I paused for you, and then you didn't come through, and then I thought, oh no, has my headphone died? But then I could hear game sound.
It was an issue with me because I did talk all about how you can get your predictions in the chat right now. We love to see the predictions, especially between these two teams who are in the top of their game in the upper bracket. And look at the blue team just getting bullied by this Maiev, but the Dark Wolf is here to try and help out, and everyone's so known, but Protoss Frank just doesn't have another Swift Strike in the bank. Yes, the red team are a little bit low. They're trying to find themselves anything as well as the kill goes over to the side of Diablo.
Yeah, nice kill there. 1-for-1 trade in the end. But early on, when you have an AA Valor style comp, you are expecting to be a little bit weaker. Whereas on the side of the blue team, the Genji and the Gul'dan, both quite impactful and in those level 1 fights. There's definitely enough damage for them. So I don't think it's too much of a worry for Watch Party right now. That being said, both teams beginning to get a little bit warm. It's a big invade here on this camp. He sees Gul'dan go down, and that is the value of the Maiev, especially when you have a tank like Johanna who struggles to invade as aggressively, and they're going to steal both camps from their opponent's Trans.
And we said it in the draft, right? Gul'dan has a very lack of mobility. He's very much just a walking horrify when it comes to the mid game, and even in this early game, there's no chance of escape for them against this Maiev. But Protoss Frank looking to put pressure onto the Valor instead, as Blaka equally trying to make that last little bit of damage. And the red team, they've got themselves a few camps here, stealing them away from the blues and extending a bit of an XP lead for them.
Yeah, it's so good on this map when you can get an invade off, especially if you can double invade on that side. As we do see now, they've counter-engaged, though, in that bottom side. The dig, though, from Dahaka means Dark Wolf has to be careful. The cleanse, not perfectly timed, was able to be dragged away from it. Dark Wolf will go down, but Bishops is falling low on the Maiev. Can they get a counter hit? Not quite chance. Another nice little rotation there from Watch Party, just able to maintain their lead.
Yeah, we obviously talk a lot about Johanna not having big impact pre-level 10, but Diablo's also another hero who needs time to ramp up. Soul Shield's great, but it needs the souls. The Flame Stomp also great, but having the level 4 and 7 talents are quintessential to their survival, and without them, they're just such a squishy target that Valor and Maiev have been able to punish. Anyone here in the mid lane, now doing a bit of soak, Luca. The Dark Wolf still looking for engagers, potentially?
Yeah, you always want to bully your opponent's tank. You probably won't be able to kill Johanna, but not hitting the Johanna means that she gets to stand where she wants with full health, whereas if you start putting the pressure on, you force her to leave. You never want to just let your opponents be where they want to be, right? But speaking of where they want to be, Saphira might be a little bit deep here. A nice polymorph means Bishops will not be able to get much value out of that engage. Blaze wanted to try and take this top camp away, but not quite there in time as well. Action all over the map, transparent.
Yeah, I mean, that's Garden of Terror for you. It's such a wide map that if you start making a play on one side, the red team have to commit to either a long rotation or making a play at the other. As Brightwing comes in for a little bit of a shift. Good shadow charge here from the Dark Wolf, but Bishop's able to vault away without too much damage. And they have the level 7, and it's going to be Malevolence at level 7 for Diablo. But Gul'dan, no way you're getting out here, Coffee.
A little bit deep there. I like this adaptation from the Dark Wolf. I think that the W build Diablo is very good, don't get me wrong. But when you're playing against a Valor comp, your opponents are going to win eventually. There's no world in which W Diablo outscales in a long fight against an AA Valor. So instead, going into this Q style makes you much more potent in the initial engage. You've got Polymorph to follow up. Maiev, Rhaegar, both want to come deep without having very much health. Dahaka, if he doesn't have Essence, can be a real threat. Johanna after D as well. All of these things can look to be taken out. As we see, Bishops already is the target here. The Darful trying to take him in. Didn't quite get the angle that he wanted, unfortunately. And it looks like Bishops will be able to walk away. Coffee may have gone a little bit too deep following here. But that Q build that we saw last time as well, getting so much range means that he can actually bully Hlapaka out on that Valor. Pre-20, he actually, I think, has a slight range advantage. Worst case, it's similar.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we said. Like, the blue team, when they're allowed these set pieces, when they're allowed to do something, they can indeed make the plays. And that's a great one onto Moranis here in the mid lane. Dahaka falling lower and lower, but it's going to be a burrow afterwards. Bishop's trying to get there with the Maiev. The blue team now all gathering. Oh, and the stun just can't quite connect. The Dark Wolf not finding the stuns here in this Eggs Cup playoff finals.
Yeah, just a real unfortunate miscommunication. Not prepared, had to go earlier or hold off until Darkwolf had got his QE out. If they had landed that CC chain, it might have been enough. But as it was, Maiev was able to leave. And with 10s here, Blaze has to be so careful. There are 5 members up in this top lane. Well, 4. Johanna moved to mid. But underneath this isolation, see, Blaze is in so much trouble. He will go down. Saphiro trying to help his friend out, going down alongside. And sometimes you just got to accept your offlane is going to fall, trans.
Yeah, donating a little bit of a second kill here, especially as level 1, they have gone for the greater polymorph rather than the additional percentage healing. It's not a lot, but it may have helped a tiny bit. Darkwolf getting pulled about, getting licked about, and this could be another kill here. The watch party have not come just to watch, they have come to claim names. And this is the first fort of the game going down here in the top lane. Well, it's not anymore because the red team is still chasing after Coffee as a second containment comes out from Maiev.
Yeah, Blaze will be here in time to get Coffee out of this. The bunker is going to be used. I think it was overkill, but better to be safe than sorry in situations like this. And as the dust settles, we've got a mostly fully stalled Diablo coming out here alongside our rest of our blue team, but they're a level down, they're a fort down. The compensation that they have is that they are 1 seed ahead, as Bishops is sharking around Coffee on that shrine, but fortunately not prepared's rotation is going to force him to think twice.
Yeah, Genji here trying to put some harassment onto Dahaka, but the red team do have the advantage. 7 kills to 1, a whole level lead. And the blue team's momentum just feels like it slipped away a little bit. Anything that they can do is going to have to be an individual pick-off. And all the red team need to do now is stay together, keep Dahaka in that off lane, and keep pressuring. Because here's another split fight here. 2 members of the blue team relying on the Brightwing to come in, manage to get a little bit of a heal with that soothing mist. Diablo does stay alive for the time being, but they just weren't anywhere near getting a kill onto the Valor.
Yeah, Hlapaka stepped up a little bit, and Darkwolf was very hopeful that there might be something there, but unfortunately for him, nothing came through. They were able to disengage it quite effectively, though, but it did force the 5-man rotation, and so Dahaka has been left alone topside soaking without any value happening for the blue team. Now, we see 13s coming in, as this seed will be a first objective for one team. They're trying to go before the 13s are in, not prepared, can't quite connect the stun. The Horrify whiffing as well. The blue team has stepped in so deep. The ISO hits Brightwing. Bunker not going to be in time to save her. Neither will it be good enough for Gul'dan. The rest of the blue team are going to try and run, but this is what critical failure looks like. 2 kills going down as the objective is going to spawn, and the red team want more. Protoss Frank has to be careful on this Genji. So does the Dark Wolf. His Diablo is almost certainly going to fall. His shield coming down to confirm it. Genji's E doesn't get him over a wall. Oh no. from bad to worse as a mid-fort will fall. Dahaka is just going to clean up that bottom lane, and the seed is now ready to give an objective chance.
Yeah, they're looking confident. They're looking competent. The Watch Party are here, and they are here to make a splash, trying to get themselves into those grand finals as soon as possible. This is, of course, a best of 3. There's still another game to be played if this goes the way of Watch Party, but absolutely right now, with 11 kills to 1, they are looking so strong.
Yeah, some very good fights going in their way, and some very heads-up macro rotations too. I definitely think I can understand why they wanted to bring us to this Garden of Terror map. They seem to really enjoy the lack of scripting, and so their ability to kind of break the mold a bit.
Yeah, they thrive in that chaos. That is exactly where Watch Party are playing their best. But they try to find something here in the mid lane. Dark Wolf still retreating. They're down to 39 souls. They're still trying to find something. Blessed Shield comes out from them. Brightwing able to put a bit of Pixie Dust to negate some damage, but ultimately it outcomes the Containment Disc. Not prepared. Catching the tongue with a quick polymorph from Saphiro. That greater polymorph extra range value coming in clutch.
Yeah, I do really like that talent now that we've seen the continual nerfing of Brightwing Zed. I think that it gives her a lot of value, and maybe it's been a little bit misrepresented earlier on. Slapaka could be in a lot of trouble here. Diablo just looking at her going, why won't you stand near her? Oh no, the disconnect explains why.
As we do have now Blaze engaging onto that Dahaka. Protoss Frank trying to find something as well. But anyone here ready for the peel. But Dark Wolf going for the body block as well. They are trying to find this in this 3 versus 5 right now. It's a great lick from Moranis though, and having been in the bush, they accelerate away with all the speed of a level 1 talent.
Oh yeah. Man, level 1 talents, most powerful talents in the video game, Transers. The blue team are going back to macro, but they need to be careful. There could be an invade on this camp. It looks like only 2 members of the red team are able to turn up, though, as Maiev and Dahaka turning their eyes to this top keep wall, trying to get as much structure damage on that as they can.
Yeah, Blaze here clearing out the siege camp. But red team, yeah, they lost their Valor to an unfortunate disconnect, and now they have to think, right, let's just play a little safer. They've still got plenty of space around the map. However, they've turned their objective in. They've got the forts. They will now be waiting for a big team fight. Blue team still have 2 seeds out of 3. So if they're able to get an objective coming up fairly shortly, oh my god, then they will have a good swing to come back into this game.
Yeah, if they can win this fight, it would be massive. But without 16s, taking the fight does seem incredibly risky. Does look like they're just going to wait, as Protoss Frank is trying to bait out some buttons. Very risky decision making. If he does get caught by something, like, for example, a disc, he has no friends around to help him. The Horrify tries to make a difference, but I think actually that was just a cooldown that was wasted there by Coffee. And now a 5-man red team can, or a 4-man red team with the Dahaka Dig, can start pressuring this top lane with their Bruiser Camp Trans.
Yeah, Bruiser Camp and a Valor with a catapult. It's going to be a gone keep almost definitely. Coffee's going to be clearing out as best as they can as this cooldown, which is probably one of the best heroes you could think about, but that just means that they're a stationary target for Maiev to really get into. Right wing goes down, Gul'dan goes down, and the Dark Wolf, they don't have enough souls, and they will be gone for another 40 seconds. This keeper's definitely a goner, but is the core, Luca.
3 members down already. Genji and Blaze respawning now. They're going to do their best to hold this, but the aggro that the red team have is massive. Dahaka walking through the keep to turn up, but it's a 70% core. It's going to keep falling, Trans. Kopaka's going to get the Ancestral, and I think Protoss Frank and Blaze just do not have what it takes to save their building. Still 10 seconds away on anyone else from the blue team. Blaze going down, and map number 1 in the hands of Watch Party.
GG. Yes, very well played here from Watch Party. Finding that line again. This is what we've seen from these top level teams. They find the line to really pressure it all. You know, as soon as there's sort of any sort of thought of, right, we could end here, we could keep the pressure going, they really start to step on the gas. I can't tell because we can't see the draft chat, but hopefully Franco's Eggpostles were ready. Or they'll play it slow if needs be. Yes, we have Franco's Eggpostles here. Hang on. Game number 2. in this best of 3 series in our upper side of the bracket. Franco's Eggpostles versus Watchparty. And
1-0 lead for Watchparty coming into this map. Transparent, but Franco's Eggpostles not without teeth. They're going to look to fight back. We are seeing a rather similar draft developing so far, though, and it is going to be the adaptation that I thought might be effective. We're going to see the Maiev get banned out, but with everything you ban, you leave something else on the table. What will it be that our red team are going to use to try and dismantle the Eggpostles this time?
Yeah, obviously, there are a lot of aggressive picks that Watchparty can pick up, but here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it's not less macro. It's all about hitting faces and brawling it out. Will that Diablo be an issue? Will the Dark Wolf find those picks that they were struggling a little bit in that game number 1?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'd love to see Dark Wolf on the Diablo. I'd like to see if Coffee can find a hammer angle. I think he plays the hammer exceptionally well. Interested to see if they're going to pry the Brightwing as much as they did before. I imagine they won't. It's going to be hilarious if we see a first pick Faustad now that we've completely ignored the hero. But it's going to be Dahaka. I like Dahaka first pick. I think Dahaka is actually a lot stronger on Tomb of the Spider Queen than credit is given to.
Yeah, I think he absolutely is. He can come from the shadows. He can speed around. So yeah, it is definitely an opportunity for the hero. I mean, you can still use the Global to quickly dart across the map too. You know, you can be bot lane. You can quickly go to that bottom camp as well.
Yeah, you can quickly go to the bottom camp. You've got a lot of quick rotational speed in the late game. You're one of the safest people to try and push out the bottom lane, and you can also de-push the bottom lane if needed while still turning up to all the objective fights. Almost all the most important fights on this map happen in heavily bushy areas, right? And so you're almost always able to be there.
So Sylvanas and Blaze here are going to be a good pickup for the Watchparty, putting on that early aggression once again. And we've seen them do that a lot. We've got people here to support their friends. That's great to see. Of course, you can support them with predictions too, as Diablo and Valor come out here for the side of Franco's Apostles.
Yeah, like to see the Valor taken early. I think it was very strong when it was played by the red team, but Lapaka already sitting on that Sylvanas, so probably not too unhappy to see the Valor be taken away. Sylvanas is to the mid game what Valor is to the late game, I feel. She's incredibly oppressive, and if you do make any small slip up into the Sylvanas comp, she can try and take the game away from you and make it really hard to play. She also has incredibly powerful ultimates. The mind control is a little bit memey, but if you can set it up properly, it's insanely good. And of course, Silence Arrow can be team fight deciding if you can find the right angle.
Yeah, Anduin banned out here from the red team. Garrosh now banned out from the blues. Not wanting that control, but I expect we're just going to see that Johanna again here. We know that Haplaka's played it in the past. Anyone definitely obviously played it last game. And it'll just be a safe pick for them. But is Valor going to be chunking through that HP bar instead?
I think that at the moment, I imagine we're going to see the red team not take drafts that want to play long enough fights for their front line to be properly chunked, right? That's I imagine that's going to be the plan. Muradin definitely on board with that plan. Renella as well on that Decade now. Not even trying to cleanse Diablo's potential engage, just saying if we go first, you're going to be dead before you can find the angle you want.
Yeah, so the Decacane's an odd one, right? And he doesn't have a cleanse, but he has a lot of healing.
I think with the Decade Muradin, what you're looking to do is be really, really aggressive. And if you do get caught, if you're not doing something and you get engaged on, I think Decade is incredibly weak, right? If you're the team going second, Decade can really struggle to actually get you into safety. But if you're always in a position where you can be aggressive, then Decade actually can be really strong. The roots can make it really difficult for you to play around, and if you do ever get caught by a slow, Muradin's just going to jump on top and make it really hard for you. I do like the Nano Jaina in that last 2 rotations, so I am a little bit worried about Anna's safety, and I think Chromie is an exceptional choice here for the Watchparty to pair with a Decade, to pair with the Muradin. Her and Decade are going to try and be as far out of the fight as possible, while the other 3 do as much damage as they can.
Game number 1 here on our game number 2 even of our Tomb of the Spider Queen here. Watch Party 1-0 up. It's Franco's Eggpostles in the blue. It's Saphiro on that Anna. The Dark Wolf on Diablo. TV Coffee on Valor. Protoss Frank on the Jaina. And Not Prepared here on Dahaka.
Protoss Flank may be an appropriate name based on that Jaina pickup, but our red team, Ranella, is going to be on Deckard. Kane Hoplaka is on the Sylvanas. Anyone on that Muradin, and then Morenas on Chromie, and Bishops has been given Blaze duty.
We have Field Study, by the way, from Ranella here. That's an interesting pickup, making sure to try and get a lot of healing out of that additional spell power, but may also look for a bit of damage later on, as we do have an engage against the Dark Wolf. But Dark Wolf instantly engages right against that Chromie, and look at that, the damage from Jaina already reducing Chromie to a pitiful amount of HP. But speaking of the same thing, the Dark Wolf just had so much focus from the front line of the red. But this was a 4 versus 5, Luca. The blue team remain alive.
Yeah, a nice trade from the blue team there, and actually catching Sylvanas out after I'd already started to look away. This is a great start from the Eggpostles, coming out with teeth and saying, yeah, you had our number game 1, but this is a map where we're more comfy. Not prepared. Getting some damage on Bishops on that Blaze as well, whereas in the mid lane, the aggression continues, Trans.
I mean, I have talked about this every single time. The Dark Wolf playing Diablo is scary. And it just felt like he wasn't finding the angles on Garden of Terror. Maybe it was because of the map. Maybe it was because of the heroes he was against. But right here, right now, they are finding those angles. And they are slamming people against them. Not prepared, finding a tongue against anyone here. And it is just aggression over aggression, as Dahaka obviously has rotated away, but the rest of the blue team have come down here, claiming the siege camp, looking for that early on push, and Muradin falls low as well.
Yeah, nice try there onto anyone, but he is able to jump away to safety. Early bottom camp for the blue team means that they can clear up the mid lane and then have pressure of their own later. Coffee needs to be careful here. Is just about able to step his way around the problem created, but in the end everyone is safe, and an earlier fall for our blue team, Transparent.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what. Oh no, I've done something weird here. Who knows what's going on with Stream Elements? I think Stream Elements and Streamlabs have got something going between them.
Oh no, the bots are fighting in chat. The mid lane is getting pushed in, Trans. There's going to be a lot of nice damage coming out here as we continue to fight our way down. But Valor getting caught out in that bottom side. So much aggression coming out from this red team. Not Prepared is going to try and drag anyone away, but I do not think the Dark Wolf is ever going to make it out of here, as again a 4v5 going in favor of the 4. This time the other side, though, as our aggressive watch party are going to take away Valor and Diablo, and already using that Sylvanas, they're going to rotate into that bottom lane. Really well done by them here.
Yes, red team are now looking to put on that pressure. They're looking to try and find something. Bishop's here a little low on mana. Meanwhile, Chromie's elsewhere on the map doing the offlane duty, but TV Coffee and Not Prepared having to do their best while getting sustained by the Anna healing darts. But level 7's coming through. Gems starting to get to that magical number 50, but no one has yet to turn in.
Yeah, as of yet, no one getting those gems channeled. It looks like 10 will go over to the red team in the bottom side, as Morenas says 22 and would love to pay all of those. The macro space created by those picks means they are going to be able to. Protoss Frank is just picking up that Bruiser Campo in the middle lane. But oh no, Dark Wolf has been caught out whilst they were doing that, and he is going to fall, and that means that we are not going to see the value that the blue team were hoping to get.
No, and now the web weavers are coming down for the red team. Oh, it's another great follow-up here, and Valor also falling. It means that the Reds have so much space with this objective phase.
Yeah, no, this is going incredibly well here for our red team, and the blue team are just getting picked off at moments that are really unfortunate. Dahaka trying to run away in this bottom lane isn't going to be able to. 26 gems on the deck. The Dark Wolf is going to try and recover as many of those as possible. Is going to get them picked up, but is he going to be allowed to leave with them as well? Healing reduction on top of him is going to make his life harder. Coffee's coming in as well. They're going to try and engage onto Muradin. I don't think this is going to go in their favor, though. Trainer getting picked off by Chromie in the top lane. And I think, Trans, this is already a critical failure.
Yeah, red team are pushing hard. 7 kills to 1. Chromie was able to get a solo kill against Jaina as well in the other lanes. And there's just a big old push happening. And look at these waves. They're so massive. Without Jaina to be able to help clear them up, Coffee is struggling. Multi-shot can only do so much. But Protoss Frank needs to find something. I mean, Ana takes a while to get online with the burst protection. Obviously, level 13 and 16 doing a lot. But Dark Wolf tries to find Ranella. Unfortunately, very far forward. Coffee looks to try and get even a single kill. But against this now level 10 team, Ranella's going to make them stay a while and listen. But Valor already dead before they get told the story.
Yeah, Valor couldn't live through the story time. Dark Wolf is able to leave, but Zafiro isn't going to be able to get out. Ana is stuck in her wheelchair, getting engaged on. And as we are finishing this fight up, we're going to see this bottom keep start falling. The Dark Wolf doing their best to defend it, but still no 10s for the blue team. They really need their opponents to make a mistake for them to have any play in this game now at all, Trams.
Yeah, they're defending this keep with their lives, and as they should. You know, if this keep goes down, it feels like the game might be lost, but they keep it. Level 10 could be in sight, could be in reason. They only have 13 gems to their name, unfortunately, after 9 kills have been dealt against them.
Yeah, no, some fantastic pickoffs at crucial moments from the red team have meant that they've got an incredible lead on this Tomb of the Spider Queen game. Compensation for the blue team. Their ults are incredibly strong. Nano with Jaina can be enough to turn fights. The Dahaka is going to be able to undo all of the pressure, or soak up all of the pressure that is currently in their bottom lane. But they're going to have to win so many fights. They are at a 80 gem deficit in this game. I now think it's 70 team. Doesn't matter. Something between 70 and 80 gem deficit. And they are turning down, and their opponents got incredible value from one turn in. All of the things you don't want to be true are true.
They have level 10s to lead. Nano Boost has been used on Jaina, but she's not pushed forward. She's not tried to find anything, and Nano Boost just goes to waste, as does Water Elemental, and it just seems like there's a little bit of disconnect. They do have an opportunity. This is a double elimination match. If they get eliminated from there, they will be having a second one, but the easy ride to the grand finals is over. And the red team just are looking to try and find this.
Let's not forget, waiting for them in the losers final. Please buff Illidan have been playing incredibly throughout their third qualifier and today. So any team who does fall down here, definitely not guaranteed to make it through. As Coffee with 75 health as he rolls out of Chromie's sand. She is throwing a fit in her sandpit, and it is going fantastically for her. But a nice sleep. Unfortunately, the keep was in range, or the fort was in range to wake her up. Jaina wanted to try and play for her, but has taken a lot of damage doing so. The loop is now out onto Zafiro. He is in a lot of danger. Can he find a way home? The sleep connects, and he is actually going to live. Deckard Kane going down. Lapaka says there's no way that Ana is allowed to stay there. Is able to get a pickup, but I think will fall for it. That's going to be 2 for 1. But Jaina caught out by Bishops, 2 for 2. Can they confirm a kill here? I don't think they can. And the bottom lane has a Web Reaver knocking on the door of the keep, Trans.
Yeah, Luca, this is dire situations. The blue team getting 2 kills, great for XP, great for catch up. But unfortunately, oh, Coffee, no, it was all a big bait. And that was superbly well played by the red team.
Yeah, fantastic baiting from Morenas there is going to see Coffee go down. And consistently we see the Eggpostles putting up incredible fights, getting wins where they have no right to, but they're just not able to time them to meaningful moments. Had they got those 2 picks earlier in the game, they might have had even levels. They wouldn't have had Web Weavers pushing against them. They might have been able to take a lead, but as it was, there's no way they can build momentum from the initially great start to the fight.
So boss is up. Red team straight away there, waiting for it to respawn after this objective. And the damage, although it's not the best boss taking damage, it is more than enough. A level 13 advantage. Chromie with their bonus talent as well. And the red blue team are just far too late for anything. Blacker will finish it off. Anyone will claim it. And the Root team are already in retreat as a great wailing arrow from Sylvanas. Stay a while and listen to pick up 2. Protoss Frank in a lot of trouble, but out comes that nano boost. Are they going to be able to do anything? It's not. It's a big stun from Bishops, and they just keep walking on. There's no even hesitation. The front line of the red team are going, and the Sylvanas falls to the damage, the Shrike damage of Anna.
Yeah, the Welly might have had something to say about it as well. That is a nice pickup, but ultimately this boss is healthy. It's going to march through this keep, and they're going to start looking at this core transparent. They are going to be respawns here in time, so the Sylph pickoff was unfortunate, and Bishops as well might have overstepped a little bit, harking back to the time that Watchparty almost lost on this exact map to our slightly strange comp from Norway. They do not want to overstay, but Coffee just annihilated by the Chromie. They're going to play for Dark Wolf now. He is trying to make as much space as he can. The boss is taken down, but they are 4v4 under their own core. Bishops is falling low. Jaina is going to get looped. Protoss flank will go down. They're going to lose Dark Wolf very soon here. The Muradin surviving with a... Oh, so the Muradin, the Diablo surviving with a hope and a prayer. Renella's sleep only on to Dahaka. The nano boost trying to get anything that they can here, but Alpaca has arrived, is going to be able to swap in. Coffee is up for this defense now.
Oh, it's a good tongue, Luca. But Dahaka goes down. The Dark Wolf's still trying to find something. Everyone is very low, and Coffee flailing around with a strafe just to clear out minions. The core was still losing HP.
Yeah, but at 50%, they have to leave. The sleep does connect on Decker. The Dark Wolf wants to go, thinks better of it.
I'm not sure if they were quite in range, unfortunately. Maybe that was it. Maybe something else. Something stirred inside them, knowing that it wasn't the right play. Of course, not prepared. We'll be back on that Dahaka very soon. They could burrow in, but the blue team have a long way to go if they want to make any sort of dent into this game.
Yeah, if they can get 16s and a single pay, they might make themselves enough space for a boss. And if in 2.5 minutes, when they've got to 16 and they've got their pay, they can march their boss down that lane and get one massive nano boost Jaina fight, there might be a chance.
I mean, the nano boost basically just reduces the level lead at the moment, right? There's like a 2-level lead, 8%. I guess nano boost, you know, obviously is a bit more than that.
Oh, Dark Wolf though, this is not 16 yet, but this is such a good choke for Diablo. Was he waiting for this? Jaina is going to get engaged on, but look at how strong Diablo is in that choke. Protoss Frank does need help, but Bishops now might be in too deep. The stun does connect before the lit can from Dahaka. That could not get cancelled though. Still up and available. The red team though, despite having a 16 advantage, having to run away from this angle, and that is the strength of Diablo in that tight choke.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely on point. And also, we are getting to that point where Anna starts to become relevant. Level 13, of course, the smelling salts, allowing for 50 armor almost so consistently because of how many stuns are.
Oh, not prepared. He is going to be able to get away for now, but I don't think he's got any long-term plans to survive here, and that is not good at all. They had one last sort of life of pressure in this game, and I think without their Dahaka, they're going to have to just fight 4v5 trans.
Yeah, 30 seconds as well, not having level 16, which has even more burst protection, but Coffee is just so far away from that sniper healer. The Dark Wolf is in, the cooldown reduction from Chromie, that damage is getting through. Diablo goes down, Bishops is already in the backline, the Nano Boost Jaina is the last hope, the last semblance of anything, and it looks like they might try and find it, as the Dark Wolf did manage to come back, but with Anna gone, the red team are just playing it slow, playing it consistent, and they will be putting the pressure on the core, Luca.
Yeah, a fantastic little bit of pressure in the early game from Watchparty. It was basically enough to see them through this game, and we are going to see this core taking damage from the pulse, taking damage from the minions. Bishops is having a little dance in front of the core. He is celebrating the first team in that grand final.
Yes, Watch Party are our grand finalists now in the bracket. We can have a little look at the stats here, Luca. And with 4 kills to 26, Franco's Apostles will be going into the lower half of the bracket here in the X Cup.
Yeah, they're going to have to take on our Polish team, please. Buff Illidan to see who is going to come back and try and run it back against Watch Party. They could be just 2 map wins away from the Egg Cups. Imagine that. 5 hours of Heroes of the Storm streaming and 4 maps are all that matter to decide our Egg Cups.